Okay, folks, I don't know how's the sound. If you guys can hear me loud and clear, I just use at this stage now a laptop. Um, it's just the maybe like this, and then I'm gonna maximize things and all. Okay, let me try go full screen, or whatever full screen means. Okay, I can see the game. I hope the sound is okay. I'm using the laptop's microphone. So I'm using another device, which I don't think is as performant as my uh, computer. So I'm using this one. Let me see if I can hide this thing somewhere. All right, you guys, I hope you can see the game that's happening right now. I hope you can hear me and all. All right, so looking at Magnus and Gukesh, let me just go back a move or two. Let me see if I can go back. Where is the leeches thing? Okay, let me find the leeches tab, which I think is this one. Uh huh. Okay, cool. Let me go back a move or two. So Queen A5 was that move that I did say. So last time when I was here, when I was live streaming in the other room, E6, Rook A-D, Queen to A5, which I did speculate it might happen. A3, sort of makes sense. Rook FD8, H4 is that move that we did discuss about the H4, Queen to A4. Does he want to stop Queen C2 or something? You may want to stop them playing Queen C2. Knight to E5. Knight takes. It's a little bit glitch at my end. Okay, knight takes E5. What do you take back with? Do you take back with bishop, or you take back with a pawn? It feels okay to take back with a bishop. I like it. I like bishop takes E5. I think it's absolutely fine if that were to be. I'm still trying to maneuver this laptop. Okay. Back to Leechess.org platform. Yeah, so I would probably take back with the bishop here. So bishop captures. And then what? Knight f6 to d7. I'm not sure about this. If you take with a pawn, though, you're actually forcing the f6 knight to go. They gotta go. And the question is where? They're gonna go d7, right? They have to. On the other hand, you're shutting off your own bishop. The diagonal I'm talking about, b8 and h2. You're shutting off that bishop. So, maybe. Maybe. Yeah, tell me, guys, what do you think white should do? Take with a bishop or take with a pawn? Take with a pawn, you're forcing the f6 knight. You take with a bishop, they could do whatever they want. What other subtleties are here? Yeah, so if you want to keep the bishop active everywhere, probably you got to take back with the bishop. He didn't decide yet. He's still thinking. Well, it looks to me bishop captures would be an idea. Shall we go to Arjun and Wei and let's see what they did? You guys let me know if it's too glitchy or something. I'm using a laptop, not the desktop PC. I'm using a laptop here. I'm in a different room, and it might be a bit slower the device than the other machine. Other than that, I had the option of the mobile, but it's not the same. Yeah, we could try the mobile too, but I'm limited with the multi destinations and stuff. So yeah, this is Erigai Senwei. Rook takes a4. That bishop sits very well on b4. I like this bishop. You can't really touch it. And I like the battery here. The e4 is the e4 hanging. Whose turn is now? White's turn. What do you do? Could you take this pawn on e4? Is there a problem if white captures on e4? I wonder. Rook takes e4. Or do you have something else? Should you play rook c8? Rook c8 checks. They have to take, you take check, king h7, and then go c7. Try to go for f7. If you guys get the idea, or maybe. So rook c8 checks the king, forces them to take, sort of. Well, they have to. Well, they don't have to. They could block with a bishop, right? Bishop f8, but it doesn't feel. Oh, no, that's crazy. You lose the rook. So rook c8, rook c8, rook c8, king h7. And then you go what? Rook c7, attack f7. C7 for attacking f7 afterwards. I'm not sure. Rook c8, rook takes, king h7, rook c7. Can you do that? I think you sort of can. Then they play king g6, defending the pawn. How do you attack them? Well, you check them again, rook c6. So that might be an idea. Not sure, but it might be an idea. Hikaru Fabe. Knight to a4, attacking b6, right? Black stuns play. White is attacking with knight f4, white stacking b6 here. Okay. If you take that pawn, what happens? You attack the rook as well. But it's black stud, by the way. So that makes me think black has to defend b6 somehow. You got to defend b6 with what? With the queen? And if you defend with the queen, where do you get a queen? You go, no, he pushed the pawn. He pushed the pawn, and I guess that's very attractive for white to play knight c5 now. So you could jump on c5 and leave the knight there. Knight f4, knight c5, and just keep the knight there for a while. And then play some queen e2, queen d2. Probably kind of like a draw, but knight c5 sits very well. This guy here, I think sits very well. I don't think there's anything wrong with that one. So he took with a bishop. I'm happy to see that Magnus took with a bishop. That's what I would have played as well. Bishop takes e5. You keep the bishop active on both directions, talking about h2 b8, and you're active with e5 h8. So active bishop, very active. I predicted correctly the queen to a5, and it's just that Gukesh played queen to a4, and that makes me think it's, amongst others, or maybe the primary objective would be to not allow queen e2 to c2. If there was an option for white, it's no longer playable. No longer playable, I think. I hope the sound is fine. Again, I'm using the laptop's incorporated inbuilt microphone. I don't have the external microphone, so I hope the sound is okay. Let's finish up this drink. Okay. That's it. Cool stuff. So back to the games. Bishop takes e5. What's black supposed to do here? Can you do knight d7? Can you? You attack the active bishop. Hey, he just played it. Happy to see that because that's exactly what I was thinking about playing if I were Gukesh, and I'm happy to see that actually Gukesh chose to play it. So knight e7 attacks the bishop on e5. Well, I guess you want to move the bishop away. So you have to play bishop f4. You have to. Unless you want to lose the bishop. So it makes a lot of sense to play bishop f4. If you guys think differently, let me know, but I don't think so. I think bishop f4 definitely. So if I do the picture in picture like this, oh, I'm actually changing the my profile with the chessboard, so I gotta go back to the chessboard. Yeah, they don't have on Restream too many options about resizing the tabs and all. So yeah, what I could do is just getting the chessboard like this, and I'll be in a little icon on the right hand side. So it's gonna be like this, I guess. Okay. So you can see more of the chessboard and less of me, but I suspect you guys can hear me. Okay. Right. So here we are now. Let me try type in something. Hello, folks. Ah, okay, cool. Appears as host, as ghost. Not on TikTok and things. I haven't got a clue what my TikTokers think about this one because I don't see the chat. So my TikTok friends, if you type in anything, I can't see your messages unless you communicate via Twitch, via Facebook, or Discord or YouTube. If you are on TikTok, I can't see your messages, and I know I have a few very dear friends on TikTok and stuff, but I cannot see their messages. I think I need to open different tabs and things to reading out messages. So that's that. Okay, knight e7. My proposition would be here is just simply bishop to f4. You got to move the bishop away. You save that guy. You have to, right? Makes sense. Bishop f4. That's my first. Unless again Magnus thinks that I don't know what, but I don't see any other thing. Do you reckon some bishop c7 would be good as a in-between Schwitzensud move? Very honest question. Before you play bishop f4, which I think is a must, we can agree on that one. That actually is a must move. Do you think perhaps bishop c7 would be playable just to make the rook going away? Not he moved bishop f4, which I did say. He moved bishop f4. I did say I would do that. But probably also he investigated if he would play bishop c7, getting the black rook moving away from the d file, and after that one, playing f4, queen f4. Can I inquire, guys, if you think perhaps we are back into the e4 idea? So bishop f4 is nice and safe. Is e4 playable? Or do you think about maybe queen to h5? Do you think that maybe something like this? Just, you think something like this maybe? Anyway, it's Blackstone. We have to say actually Blackstone to move now, so Gukesh has to play first something. Could be a couple of ideas here. But you know what I'm thinking? I don't know. Something like knight at b6. Then can you do knight to c4? And I don't know if you got enough time to actually playing queen to b3 and attack b2 like twice on things, or do you think it's just too slow or maybe too risky? If you want to look at bishop to c7 after knight b6, so probably that's not quite playable. Yeah, so knight b6 probably is. But you have to give up on your bishop, right? So you play bishop c7, rook's got to move. Are you really going to take on b6 the knight, though? So I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say just yet. Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see about that. This is the overlay chat. Wait a second. There is a button here on the Restream software. Yeah, but it reduces the size of the chess tab. So actually, it's a disaster. It doesn't work. Yeah, so the Restream software is good, but you need to use another software if you want to do the live stream and to resize your own webcam, and to resize the chess, or to crop altogether and to modify things. You would need to actually use the Restream and then plus Streamlabs and stuff because it's just not good enough. Restream is not good enough. You gotta use 2, 3 softwares for your live stream. Anyway, queen to e6. Now that's a little bit unexpected, I gotta say. Queen to a6. Goes for the queen trade now? I have to tell you something. I don't even know how to look at this move, queen a6, that Gukesh just played. I really don't know what that means. I mean, I can see that actually Gukesh wants to trade off the queens. I get it. But so when white takes, I think I might understand something in the end. If white takes, obviously black will take back. This is 100%. Of course. Of course. The idea would be, guys, probably after bishop had been traded, well, you got to play the knight first, right? I think it's way too many. So knight f6, bishop d6, and then trade off and get rooks over to the b file somehow. But boy, oh boy, this feels incredibly unnecessary. I'm gonna say something. The queen a6 is very weird. I think it's the most weird move in the game. Queen a6 is the weirdest move in the whole game. Queen a6. I don't even know what it does. I don't even know. I mean, the only thing I could do, Michael, is just if you log in whenever I'm streaming live, and that would be the only pro bono publico work I do. So the only thing I could do for my friends out there, it's during the live stream. That would be the only free coaching I could give to my viewers. To some of them, because not everybody needs it. But yeah, that's the only free stuff I could do is just the live stream when I'm actually discussing with folks, and I could have a look at a PGN they played or a Rapid they played, and we can discuss it. That would be the only way. If you're looking into some coaching for free, that's it. All right, I think I've seen you on TikTok, and now you moved over to Twitch because I couldn't have read your messages on TikTok for the time being on this chat here. Okay, very weird, Queen A6. Really weird. Hey, what's that Ivar gauge doing there? I don't remember. What's that Ivar gauge? Oh, let me put them all. No, 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 no. Yeah, I'm using a new device. I'm using another laptop, and I don't think it's as performant as my desktop PC desktop machine. So I'm doing what I can currently now. I think tomorrow will be better. Here guys see with the blacks now. What is gonna play? I'll tell you something. White needs to do something like they need to play something like Rook F4 to attack this guy here, like twice. So that will be one idea. So probably black has to do something against this, but I don't know what. I'm not sure what. That's the only way to find something attacking for white would be Rook E4 to F4 and attacking F7. Other than that, I don't know what else. hmm Back to Fabi, whites and knockout with the black pieces. So that knight didn't make it on C5 after all. I was expecting white to actually place the white knight from A4 over to C5, but he actually went C3. Very interesting. Now that attacks twice the B5 square. Knight to A7 defending that pawn twice. Okay. And white time to play. Fabi to play. Is he going to do queen e2? I'm not sure. You also need to take into account b5 to b4. So do you think maybe queen b3? No, he played queen e2, which I did say. So that makes me think that he got a plan already for the black pawn moving over to b4. I think he's got a plan already. By the way, what might be the plan here? If b5 goes to b4, what's white supposed to reply? How is he going to play? How is he going to play? What do you play against this? I think this is the most problematic stuff that might be available for black to play against white here. b5, b4. Then you take, then they take again. So what exactly you play after that one? If I am to thinking about a single move that might be inconvenient for white, that is the move. b5 to b4. Because they get to hit the knight again. So AB, AB, knight A, they attack your pawn. Then I don't know what you play. You push it again? The knight c3 back? I don't know. But if there's anything, that's the only stuff for black to play and pressurize something or attack something. That's the only idea I can find. Okay. And this is, again, we are back with queen a6. Queen a6, a very, very unexpected move. I absolutely did not foresee any queen a6 happening, but there we are. Magnus refused the queen straight. Interestingly, he went queen f3. I think he still wants to He still wants to play e3 to e4. I'm sure about it. Yeah, he still want to play it, right? Yeah, he still want to play it. Ah, they got also a portrait. Hold on a second. Let me try that format. Although I shouldn't be doing this, but then again, orientation selection not available while live. Yeah, well, okay then. Not available, not available. Fine. If I do this, my icon disappears, so you actually see the board completely. There's no big difference, I guess. I can leave this one, not a problem. And what else have we got in here? We've got this, which is interesting, but you guys. Oh, hey, I didn't think about this one, but actually it is playable. So actually, you you have a better view of. You actually see the board. You see the webcam bit resized and the pieces. I'm not sure if they're good or not. Anyway, it's an idea. I haven't tried it, so actually I'm trying it now. I didn't do this before on the laptop, so it might be a bit of a delay. I mean, not too much of a delay. It might be a fraction of a second, maybe delay. But anyway, here we are. Okay, let me go back to the lead chess. Queen f3. He refused to trade on a6. Again, slightly unexpected. I thought that maybe it's good for white to take on a6. I didn't see very clearly how black can take advantage of the b file, given the fact that the bishop on f4 just takes all the dark squares. I didn't see very clearly how queen a6, ba6 would be bad for Magnus. If he played queen f3, that means he wanted to do something else. And frankly, why not queen g4? Let me just go back a move. Why not queen g4? If you really want to go for crazy things like bishop h6 and stuff. I mean, didn't that work, you think? Was that so bad? I don't know. Was this so bad? Anyway, he opted just for queen f3. What can I say? He refused the queen straight. And that makes me think he still wants to go e4, which is this. So he still want to do this. Or is he going to do something else? What else is here, by the way? What does he want to play? Right. You know something? When you move queen to f3, you refuse the queen straight. Fine, fair enough. But also, you cannot castle the king. So now the white king can't be castled, can't be moved on the light squares due to the black's queen. Look at this. So the white king can't be castled now. It can't be castled. It's a mystery. It's a mystery a little bit. I really, really would like to hear Magnus's thoughts on this very position and moment in the game's evolution. I thought queen takes a6 would be maybe a small advantage for white. Or maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. Queen f3 for e4, but really, are you going to keep the king on e1 now? Oh, I have an idea. Do you know something? I think I might have found some other ideas workable for white here. White may very well play knight to e2, and that allows white to castle eventually, or at least to move the king. And if you want to hear another crazy idea, after something like knight e2, could white perhaps go h3 and then g3? It takes a billion years, but I don't think there's anything else happening anyway. Hey, where's the leeches? Where's the board? It disappeared or something? Ah, here it is. Here is back now. Good. Well, if it's back, is good. Yeah. So it could be some 92 that may allow the chance for castle short. Or if you don't do castle short, you might do some rook h3 and stuff. But let me tell you something else. You actually can do knight h5 and rook h3 and rook g3. Maybe after knight h5 you want to sack on g7, right? Or something like that. Hmm. Maybe an idea. Rook h3, rook g3. But the knight, where does the knight go? e2 or h5? The more aggressive choice would be probably knight h5, right? The more aggressive one. So could it be this? And you go for the g7 and stuff. It is a couple of moves, but I think it's definitely something. It's definitely something. Um, okay, bishop d6, finally. Gukesh had found a way to trade off a very, very disturbing active bishop for black. The bishop on f4 was a really active piece. Do you have to take now? No, you don't have to take. Maybe you want to play rook h3 first. Just saying. I guess rook h3 is a very, very beneficial way to playing this. I'm looking at rook h3 here. Now, if black takes, so be it. You're going to take back with what? With the queen? Maybe? And then you go rook h3. Then you're going to play this guy somewhere, like h5. And hey, I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that bad for white, from white's point of view. So Magnus doesn't have to trade now, does he? He doesn't have to trade. So that's what I'm thinking. If you guys see things differently, feel free to. But that's how I'm looking at the position here. Is there something else, guys, that I'm not quite noticing? Okay. 45 minutes for black, 48 minutes for white. Plenty of time for Magnus. I'm starting to actually appreciate the complexity of this middle game now. I think definitely a rook h3 is coming. And the white king is going to just stay there. You're not going to do nothing for the time being. But in the eventuality that black actually takes on f4, you take with a queen, then you could potentially play the f pawn too, and then just get yourself king f2 if there's anything. In order to circulate the rooks, to connect your rooks on the back rank and things. But I think rook h3 is absolutely fine. No one attacks the white king just yet. And if the bishops get traded off so far. Um, so again, I have to say that queen to a6 struck me as a very unusual and unnecessary move, I guess. Maybe not the most aggressive. Bishop d6, it makes total sense from black's point of view to want to trade off that dangerous f4 bishop. Rook h3, rook g3 makes sense, knight h5 makes sense, and looks like white is sort of attacking a bit more than black here. Totally. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. Let me go Arjun and way E. Yeah, you want to push that pawn. Rook now challenges the white rook, and white's turn to play. You could actually take here with check first. I think that makes sense. What do you think? You can't push the pawn. Yes, you can. You push the pawn, and if they take, well, you push, they take, you take check. But really, I think you want to trade off first, right? You trade off. Rook takes. One of these two. I'll tell you something. I think it's one of these two. Probably you take on f7 first, right? Yes, there you go. Ta-da! F7, check. Now this to go. You could take the black rook eventually, unless you want to play something else, which is not very clear. But let's see what they do. Now, if king goes h7, just give an example. Would we perhaps think about this one? I mean, it's something here. Black has to play this one carefully because there is a dangerous prospect about that pawn being pushed again. But there is a bishop. You still have to calculate this one because there is a white rook on b7, and if that white rook takes on b4, then there might be a little danger about the f8 promoting. So you have to calculate this one. You have to sit down and make sure you calculate this one and you're happy with the results of your things. Yeah, maybe. Well, king takes. There you go. Now that makes me think maybe rook b7 takes c7, rook takes c7. No, he sacked the rook for the bishop on b4. Rook takes b4. Now, obviously, a takes b4. I don't think there's any. And rook takes. And Wei E, a very courageous individual now. He goes into a rook, into an ending with rook and bishop, an extra pawn versus rook battery. But that particular bishop on e3 is very strong. The bishop on e3 is crazy strong. This guy, just, it's super strong. You mustn't trade. You mustn't trade. You just have to refuse any trade. After rook c8 to c7, you have to refuse the trade, right? He doesn't refuse the trade. My God, the guy is quite courageous. H3. Oh boy. Okay, good luck with this. Probably you're gonna draw with the most perfect correct games. Uh, okay. What do you do? Well, you gotta trade, right? Or you push the pawn forwards. Takes, and now rook h4. Challenge, attacking both. This one. Rook to h4, attacks h5, attacks h3. You can't defend them both. You're gonna play, I suspect, king g2. You're gonna go king g2, and then the black rook's gonna take on h5. I guess something like this. I guess something like this. I mean, what else can you play? Yeah, there you go. Rook h4, king g2, I suspect, right? Naturally, king g2. Or do you push on h6 first? Just for the. I mean, look, if you push the pawn forward here, the guy takes you with a pawn. True, but then you push g2. If you push the pawn, and if they take on h3, you're going to take on g7. And then king takes on g7, and then you're going to play king g2. So let me tell you something. It's definitely worth investigating h6 as well. If you're having the whites, and I'm pretty sure Wei Yi is going to look into this, I think you got two main options here. You've got king g2 and you've got h6. I think they both playable. I'm not sure at this second which one's better, but I'm not sure which one's better, but definitely playable. If you guys think differently, you let me know, but I think this one makes sense. Again, I need to apologize for my TikTok friends. I cannot see the chat from TikTok at all. I suspect I need to open up different tabs and all to having access to your messages. So I can only see whatever messages I get via Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. That's that. H6, there you go. I did say H6, and there is H6. Exactly right. And now you can play nicely King G2. There you go. King G2, exactly as I thought I'm going to do. And that's it. And that's it. Probably a draw. Now H6 is currently targetable, but King G6 defends. You're going to move King G3. Rook is going to go somewhere, whatever they want. And this is a draw. You can't break through anything. Probably you can continue for a while, but um, yeah, that's that. Let's see Fabi and Naka. I'm going to peruse a little bit here. G6. Interesting. G6. What? Hmm. Let me tell you a plan. I'd like to have the queen here, and then potentially you might be playing this. I'm just looking for tactics, guys. Oops, I wanted to say this. I'm just looking for tactics, people. Queen g4, and then knight takes d5, and pawn can't take because we take the queen. This. So it's idea. It's an idea. And anyway, I think it is important that you activate your pieces, and Queen G4 seems to be a very active way to develop your guys. It seems to be. Okay, okay. Back to Gukesh and Magnus. And you know something, because it's the experimental day, I think I'm going to go on the mobile live stream as well, and I'm going to give it a try with that one too. Why not? I had the desktop computer, which is actually ideal, but for objective reasons, I had to switch over to the laptop, and laptop is just a little bit glitchy and delayed, because that's the limitation of the laptop I'm using. So that's that. Queen takes f4. Let me see what was the last thing that happened, guys. I hope the sound is acceptable. So bishop takes f4. Hey, I'm happy about knight h5, which I did speculate a couple of moves ago. So knight h5 for obvious reasons, I guess. Bishop takes, queen takes. And I think, my dears, that actually we're going to see some rook h3, rook left ASAP. And I don't know what to say, but it seems to be that the rook h3 with rook g3 is a bit of a problem for black. It might be even a knight sacking, knight takes g7. It might be. I'm not sure, but it might be. I'm not sure, but it might be. It might be. So that's a challenge here for black. Definitely is a challenge here. I mean, it's an attacking, it's initiative. You just hit something. Knight can't go on f6 now. The black knight on d7 can't go to f6 because the white knight's going to take, and you're going to win a pawn, and practically you're going to just win the game. Oh, black queen is a little bit stranded. I gotta tell you guys, the black queen, I don't see very clearly what kind of future the black queen has there. How exactly are you supposed to relocate your black queen to helping in defending the black king? How exactly are you going to achieve that? It doesn't seem very clear to me. How are you going to do it? I don't know. I don't know how you're going to do it. For white seems to be a little bit easier to figure out a way to attack, but for black to defend, I don't know. I don't know, sir. Interesting. Probably there is a way to defending what? Knight f8, knight g6? Does that work? Asking for a friend. Knight f8, it's a twofold thing, if not more than that. Knight f8 also allows queen d6 eventually. Eventually. So knight f8 allows queen d6, and then maybe you're gonna trade off the queen somehow. Or at least you get the queen a bit more present there because you got a problem on that area on the king side. After rook left and things. Just saying. I mean, maybe. But when you play knight f8, that comes with another caveat. There is the c5 pawn hanging, but I don't think Magnus is after the pawn yet. I mean, he would grab it if he has the certainty that he actually increases the chances for winning. But I think Magnus's focus is actually on rook h3, and then eventually knight takes g7. Maybe he wants to sack the knight. Maybe he wants to sack the knight. You never know. Very interesting. I think I like this one. Very interesting. Okay. There we go to Arjun and Wei. This one is cool, but probably looks like a draw. Interesting, but probably looks like a draw. You gotta play this one accurately anyway. Because you know what's planned for black here? I'm gonna tell you what's the plan for black. Black actually wants to play something like this, and then they're gonna sack, and you take, and this guy takes, and then you have to play very carefully the ending, winning the opposition all the time and not allowing the black king to actually attack the h3, because if they grab the h3, you still play the opposition, so it should be a draw, right? In the minute but you have to pay attention to this particular ending rule, the opposition. So yeah, there's still a little bit of calculations here. After rook a3, you don't have to sit there with the bishop. Maybe you can move diagonally somewhere. I don't know where, but you don't have to wait for them to taking and winning the pawn, right? So, okay, it might be some rook g6 checks coming. Definitely, definitely. King h2. It might be a draw in the end. Might be a draw this one. Hikaru Fabi, let's see. Queen g4. That's my modest anticipation here. Queen to g4. That's how I think. Queen to g4 in order to try something like this. and knight f6 and stuff and whatnot. Something like this. I don't know. Maybe there is another sacking with bishop takes on g6. I'm not sure, but maybe, you never know. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Yeah, that's that. So I'm gonna try open up the mobile then and try to go for a quick live stream on the mobile and see if there's any change in terms of quality and image and sound and stuff. Tomorrow I'm gonna be back to the PC desktop, so gonna be way smoother than the laptop live stream that I'm doing right now. So apologies for the low quality of the live stream, but that's the limitations of the laptop currently. Okay. Alrighty. And by the way, I use the software called the Restream, which is so and so in a studio. Maybe they'll improve it in the future. I don't know. Okay, awesome stuff. Yeah, I really enjoyed these games played by the best chess players currently on the planet. So I'm gonna go over to the mobile stream and see if there's anything better. Alrighty, folks. See you in a bit.